Hi, it's Sharon. Today I'm watching Ironheart Season 1, Episode 1, Take Me Home. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon. I will try and get all 3 episodes up as quickly as possible. They will all be up unedited on Patreon. Like, as soon as I watch them, I will then post them on Patreon, but it's when I'm able to edit. It'll be as quickly as I can. And the fact that Marvel is releasing 3 this week, 3 next week, they don't think about us editors. No, I am really excited for this show. My slight confession is I actually only watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever at the weekend. Now, the reason for that is not anything bad. The reason for that is these films came out, like, basically the MCU during COVID. I have chronic fatigue syndrome. I was very concerned how COVID might affect that, given... I was in isolation from, like, April 2020 till 2023, late 2023, going into 2024. Like, I really did not leave the house, so therefore I did not go to the cinema, and so I fell very, very behind in the MCU. And that was in part then because when they eventually did come on Disney Plus, I'd heard so many terrible things about Thor: Love and Thunder, and I just couldn't bring myself to watch it. I did watch it this weekend. It was okay. I understood the criticisms that I had heard, but the reason I never got around to watching Black Panther it was partly because I was watching the MCU in order, but it was also that one was because I didn't want to be sad. And I watched that film at the weekend and I cried a lot because of the in-story sadness and the out-of-story sadness. So the reason I have been putting off watching Black Panther Wakanda Forever in particular was because I knew it would be really, really sad. But then Ironheart was coming out, and I didn't know super loads, but I definitely saw that it was like a continuation of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then I realized when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this Riri person, that is the I understand. So I have seen it. I have seen the movie Riri was in. If I have fucked up, and I have seen a couple of later Marvel things that people have sponsored, but I am, for the most part, and I'm gonna continue catching up because I love Marvel. You know how hard it can be sometimes to convince yourself to watch a movie at home. I don't know why it's different. But the reason I'm mainly saying this is so that if I have fucked up and there is going to be a reference to another Marvel film that I haven't seen, let me know so I can watch it before next week and kind of fill myself in. But I think I've watched everything that I need to watch to understand this show. I'm excited. Let's go. Okay, happy flashbacks. Yeah, this girl's not happy, is she?
Do you think Tony Stark would be Tony Stark if he wasn't a billionaire? No shade. That's just the way the world works.
Yep. Well, me.
She did something. I want to build something undeniable. I want real life
Wakanda fund her, given she helped.
Explain to my professors.
Given your history here and the financial impact of yesterday's incident,
Oh dear.
it's too late.
You're expelling me?
Effective. Immediately.
Is there anything you would like
Here to make sure she doesn't take anything that's not hers.
I would never. She built that with her own grant money.
I did that, right?
Does it work well enough to fly and leave?
Sup, I'm Trevor, MIT's teaching robot and virtual operational resource, and your very own.
He reminds me of the paperclip. You would think Wakanda would fund her projects. I suppose, I don't know, she's doing a project for America, it's for the whole world. And you know, like she was saying, if Tony Stark hadn't come from that family, he wouldn't have been able to make all his brilliant, wonderful inventions. It's money, how you get it, doesn't really matter. It's just if you have it or you don't have it. And so if you get a connection, like to the Wakandan royal family, surely you should get some money from them. I suppose Shuri's not technically in power, but you know, like Wakanda in general.
Fixing it. Come on. Don't freeze on me.
Not exactly a well-oiled operation.
Rampage.
Oh dear.
Why is the alarm going off?
She's wearing masks.
Well, we gonna find someone in the next couple days. And we still got tunnel, heirloom, the big job. Yo, you seeing this?
Trevor, stabilize the cabin pressure. I need some more air.
Okay, Riri.
Yeah, things aren't going well. He's calling her Riri.
Wait, hold on.
Oh dear.
And see, I don't know how much of it is her acting out and how much of it is Riri being Riri. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I can sense it's still
Traumatic event, what was it? Her situation they kept referencing. I thought that was sort of the movie, but is it something else?
He called. You know you can always do the same.
You know, Riri.
All the way around the world to prove a point.
Everything here feels so, I don't know, small.
Just wanted to show you the mural they put up with your stepdad and my sister while you were away. Not bad, right?
What
I
happened?
miss them both. He used to sing along to every song on the radio. Word for word.
You process your grief.
and him
You
used to
reach the
work
point where
every
you can
waking moment on that
share the
trash
stories like this, and it
barracuda.
makes you happy as well as
Whatever
sad.
happened to it?
It seems like she's been running from it. Seems like more, this is more serious crime than she's been involved in before.
That best friend of yours, what was her name?
Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie.
Started college at 15 and here she is. In your shop, all grown up. When you get there, use the elevator in the kitchen up to the second floor.
Yeah, this is
No
shady. She's also desperate.
Morning, evening.
Yeah, I don't think I could go up there. This feels like you're being tortured and murder. There she is, desperate for the financial resources that this will bring up. My god, it's a test. Jesus Christ. This would not encourage me to want to work with you.
That's exactly what I would have done.
I heard Riri Williams was a genius,
Love the cloak.
but I said to myself, I see you fed up with mediocre folks taking your spot, mediocre institutions rejecting your genius. And soon enough, you're gonna get tired of making yourself so small to fit inside those awkward boxes they put you in.
Saying all the right
When you get
words.
to that point, let me show you another way.
I love a good cloak, but the cloak would also put me off wanting to work for him. It's a bit extra. But I also love it. So maybe it
So what's
wouldn't.
it gonna cost?
Look, I don't want to hurt anyone.
It's not like that.
Okay, so what do you do?
Yeah, and
Theft,
can you
extortion, breaking and entering.
prove that
Why?
you don't want to hurt anyone?
Why do you make? And I will give you the tools to help you carry out your vision.
If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. I mean, these people seem nice. I don't know. They don't seem horrible. It's too good to be true.
Hey, Xavier, it's me, Nat. Need you to do Big Sis a favor. I'm over here.
Natalie?
He maybe should have warned her that it was. Random acts of violence.
Okay? Ree, you want to talk about him or Natalie.
So now it's my fault that you let Gary's dream die.
You haven't been home that long.
Grief is different for
So you
everybody.
need a second.
Sheila, we got 2 more marks and then...
Big show.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
On to the big
come on,
show.
man.
So is she gonna start off working for them and then they're gonna end up being people she has to stop? Yeah, this isn't just your friendly heist crew who just steal from people that don't need it. There is something sinister going on here.
Nah, you up?
Hell no. Natalie? Well, who the hell else would it be, bitch?
So is that just something only she can see because of what she's done, or has she made a projection that would appear for everyone to see? Okay, so this definitely first episode was just putting things into place, getting the pieces, like reacquainting us with Riri, getting us to see this position she's in now, and then setting up the rest of the story as well as her backstory. I will say this show definitely has already demonstrated the obvious truth in life that people with access to money and connections get everything, and people without can be just as good, if not better, and fail simply because they were not born into the same random circumstance. I did like that, I mean, I liked it, but at the same time, I was also like, it made me sad how often she had to reiterate, I'm not saying anything against Tony Stark, it's just true he had billions, because that is the case. There are so many people in the real world and in fictional worlds who, if they had randomly been born to somebody with millions, would have been able to make this huge impact on the world, make the world a better place, but because they were not, they're not able to do it. And then, in Riri's case, when you throw in racism and sexism on top of everything else, she is climbing a very, very tall and impossible mountain. And, we saw quite clearly how she hasn't been dealing with her grief, with her trauma. She's kind of been running from it and losing herself in her work, and that has meant that she doesn't necessarily act in the way you should. Like, obviously, there is a lot of ridiculous red tape and a lot of kind of, oh, you need to do XYZ so this company will like you and stuff that isn't great. But at the same time, you kind of, when you getting grant money, things like that, you also can't just do whatever you want, however you want. You have to kind of walk a fine line. And I feel like because of her grief, she was playing a lot faster and looser with that. It does make me sad that Wakanda have kind of just been like, bye. Because she helped them. She was a big part of everything that went down. And, like, yeah, she didn't intentionally cause the problem and they helped her too. So I'm not saying they like owe her anything, but I feel like in this world where having access to resources and connections and people with access to money gives you everything, it would have been nice if they'd given her like some money to help her, or even like let her finish her studies in Wakanda. Like, does she need to go back to America? If she was willing to move to Dubai to try and do it, like, couldn't she work in Wakanda to finish what she's doing? And I don't think she's building the Iron Suit specifically to save America. She's doing it to try and help people everywhere. Obviously, the Avengers are very much located in America, so they have always kind of, America has been the main thing they've protected, but I don't know. I don't necessarily think Wakanda owe her anything, but I also feel like it would have been nice if they, seen her potential and done something with it, especially if maybe, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what Shuri's next steps are after the last Black Panther movie. I assume because she is, the Black Panther, that she will be remaining in Wakanda, maybe just spending some time living with her family elsewhere. But if she's not going to be as present in the lab, maybe it would be good to have somebody else there who's brilliant. But obviously this story would not work if Wakanda was financing or, hosting Riri. The backstory with her best friend slash girlfriend, because did she say girlfriend, but was she using girlfriend colloquially? I'm not sure. And her stepfather, her father, her witnessing it, horrific, and not processing that trauma and just pushing it away is so unhealthy, but also so realistic and a natural human response, unfortunately. She's really run away and thrown herself into her work and her genius. And now she's kind of lost that. I mean, she hasn't lost that. She'll never lose her genius, but she's lost access to it. And it really shows you how, if it were to be found out, oh, she's made a deal to work with criminals, people would judge her for it and look down on her. And, I'm not watching it thinking, great decision making, woo! But she literally had nowhere else to turn. It's frustrating to think that, an institution like MIT could see her genius, see her brilliance, but not fund her, not help her. Like, whereas someone with less genius than her, who just has a rich mummy and daddy, can sail through, do whatever they want, get everything they need. But because she doesn't come from a wealthy background, MIT is like, well, we'll give you some grant money, but she still had to do all that extra stuff all that illegal stuff, sure, but to get the money. It is frustrating and ridiculous. Going forward, I'm guessing, at the moment, I mean, the heist crew seemed friendly and accepting and nice, they seem like a fun bunch. I'm guessing there is a much more sinister undertone, and maybe they don't all know about it, just the top two. My current prediction is that she's going to work with them, maybe realize they aren't great, and ultimately have to try and stop them. But we will see. So yeah, a very good first episode, setting the scene for everything else. Reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, and thank you so much for watching.